Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast brought by Closers.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Milan Kohut, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Todd Bertsch, the owner and president of Evolve Marketing, an Akron-based digital agency focused on web design, development, digital marketing, video production, and branding. With over 28 years in web design and BFA in graphic design from the University of Akron, he founded the agency in 2009 to support manufacturing, nonprofit, and B2B clients like Great Lakes Cheese and Akron Community Foundation. His hands-on leadership has grown Evolve into a tight-knit team delivering custom solutions from concept to launch. With that being said, Todd, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you on the podcast, man. I'm looking forward to the conversation. We're going to dive deeper into this. There is a lot to share with the audience.
Sure.
Let's get it started. What I love to do with all of my guests is a bit of traveling back in time. Whatever happened in the past, just get us more familiar with what the journey really looked like for you over the years. And then we're going to go into what the business looks like for you today.
Yeah, absolutely. I love going back in time. So yeah, as you mentioned, to kick things off, my background is graphic design. So I'm a traditional graphic designer, almost 30 years now, which shows my age, and you can see it in my beard a little bit. But yeah, when I was graduating, the internet was just coming out, which that dates me, and I jumped on and I never jumped off. I saw an opportunity. I love the interactive components of web design and development, and that really is what I hung my hat on for all of my career, building websites. And then once digital marketing became a thing, search engine optimization, pay-per-click ads, social, email, video, content marketing, all the things that drive that relevant traffic, I saw an opportunity. In 2009, I had worked with several different marketing agencies, but they didn't really have a focus on digital. So in my area, Akron, Ohio, I saw an opportunity, a gap in the marketplace to create a company that was really focused on great UI, UX, a really awesome user experience, along with a great story, right? The branding, the marketing of it. And that's why I created Evolve Marketing. So we've been doing that 16 years. Small team, small but mighty, 10 to 15 people, give or take, over the years. Really focused on, as you said, the B2B manufacturing and nonprofit sector, which is interesting because those are two very different industries. I'll tell you, my teammates love that nonprofit work. And nothing against B2B, but it can be a little boring, right, at times, working on different products that you never heard of before, but also can be quite interesting. But the nonprofits, that's giving back to the community, that's really doing that meaningful work that people love to do. And then this thing called COVID happened, right? And lots of time to reflect, which I did and many people did. And I hired an executive coach. And she took me through a program. You can see the book up here called Positive Intelligence, for those of you who are watching on YouTube. And that's a mental fitness program. And that program changed my life. It changed me as a person, it changed me as a leader, and it changed my business. And I took my executive team through this program as well, and I saw the impact that it had on them personally and professionally. And that having that shared language as a leadership team, it's really just changed the trajectory of our business. And then I saw how powerful that was, and I had realized that my cup wasn't as full as it had been for the past 15 years. Because COVID, nobody really came back to the office. I have a beautiful office space that I own, and I get it, and I wanted to keep my people, so pretty much everybody has worked from home or a little bit of a hybrid. But that's not what I love. I love people. I love the interaction. And I started thinking, reflecting about what's my next chapter. And that's when I started to transition out of my business, Evolve Marketing, into keynote speaking and mental fitness coaching, being Positive Intelligence. The program that I went through that had such an impact on my life, I wanted to give that back to others. So now I'm a mental fitness coach and a keynote speaker. And I also have my own podcast, The Bolt, which is focused on leadership and personal growth. So that's the cliff notes of my story. So I still own my marketing business, but I have an amazing team that pretty much runs it for me on a day-to-day basis.
Beautiful. And also talking about the good old COVID. though. This is one of the most pivotal times in the history of mankind. And also for you, it's lovely to see that even despite like all of those years in business, it is constantly about your ability to adjust whatever is happening to whatever is happening in the market and make those changes as you go. So let's dive deeper into what is taking the most of your focus today, which, as you share with us, is not really the marketing agency at this point, but it's more in terms of the consulting work that you do. So, what I want to do now is really get the listeners closer to, first of all, who it is exactly that you're trying to help right now, and also what do the core offerings really look like when it comes to your clients. So, walk us
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, absolutely. The core clients are leaders, really any leader, middle management, all the way up to the C-suite. Really anybody that is ready to make a change. And that's one of the reasons why I started this consulting business, was that I know what it feels like to be stuck, to be weighed down by self-doubt, fearful of the unknowns, the future, and just to be afraid of change. And when that happens, you get into a fixed mindset, which inevitably gets you into a comfort zone. And I will tell you that a comfort zone is a slow death. And I don't want to see people get there, right? And I've been there, and as you get older, it's easier, right, to fall into a comfort zone. As you get into your third, fourth, and fifth job, or maybe you've been in a job 3 to 5 years, and you just hit that default button, right? It's automatic. It's Groundhog Day. You're doing the same thing day in and day out. And as a society, we don't embrace change. We don't embrace discomfort because it's all about controlling your environment. Even the temperature, we have heating and cooling, we just don't experience it. So I wanted to help people. I wanted to help them ignite their spark. And that's really the Bolt podcast, Ignite Your Spark. I'm writing a book called Ignite Your Spark, and it's based on a framework of 5 principles: curiosity, mindset, action, growth, and impact. And what that happens is curiosity is that spark, right? That is the spark. When you can be curious, when you can be open, you're not making assumptions. And that's when you can build some really great relationships with your teammates, your colleagues. You can start to form that bridge, and then you start to build trust. And that is the key to any thriving team. And once you have that curiosity, then you can start to fuel your mindset. And that's where my mental fitness practice comes in. You start to build that resilience. So as challenges come your way, and this is where mental fitness comes into play, mental fitness is all about your capacity to identify negative thought patterns and then quickly shift into a sage mindset. And a sage mindset is all about being calm, cool, collected, focused, full of empathy, gratitude. I don't know about you, but that's where I want to be. That's where I want to live. Yeah. And imagine having those characteristics as a leader. What you can do with your agency, with your consulting business, right? Because every day as an entrepreneur, it's one thing that I learned. I was a guy who loved control. And I loved checking the box. Man, every day is a fire, right? And when you get derailed by negativity, it throws your entire day off. So you, even maybe a couple of days, and you're not accomplishing anything. And then your team sees that. And it's a trickle down, right? You're the leader, so they think that's okay, and that's how they take on. It's a contagion effect. They take on those feelings. And next thing you know, you're not being as productive as you could be. So that was really the impetus for creating this business, was just to help people recognize, understand change. Why do we resist change? It's all fear-based. It's how we're built, survival, right? So understanding that and getting over it and being reminded of, hey, you've embraced discomfort before. You've embraced change before, right? You can get over this. You can do this again. And it all starts with small shifts. And that's where the action piece is in those 5 principles. Just small shifts. We're not trying to move mountains. If you just try to get 1% better every day and experience some discomfort every day, then when a real challenge or change comes, like COVID or something like that, you're ready. It's not going to affect you. You're going to be calm, collected. You're not reacting. You're just being discerning. You're being collected, and then you can laser focus in on the challenge. And that's when you can scale. That's when you can move the needle.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, when it comes to if somebody is listening to this podcast right now and they're maybe not that familiar with your consulting business, one thing to clarify, now that we have a better understanding of who it is that you're looking to help with all of those leaders, mid-level management, C-level people, when it comes to actually following on your promises and really delivering the value that you want to deliver, how is the structure in terms of the program? Is it about the keynotes? Is it about you doing workshops? Is it about like several months of consulting and coaching type of deal? How does that work?
Yeah, great question. It all starts with the keynote. So it's a 60, 90-minute keynote, could be in person, could be virtual, and that really sets the tone for the program. So I take people through educating them again on why we resist change. And then we go through the Spark framework, and we just touch on that. It's very interactive. We get people involved. And then we go into the coaching program. So the mental fitness program is an 8-week program. It's about 3 to 4 hours of a commitment each week. And then you're starting to build mental muscle. And that's the difference between that program and like an Enneagram or Strength Finders or DISC, where it's mainly insights, which are super helpful, but there's no action. And this is building mental muscle. So when you're building muscle, just like you would go to the gym and work out, right? That has a lifelong ROI. You're actually laying down new tracks. Through neuroplasticity, you're rewiring your brain. And I've done it. I've been doing the program for 5 years, and I literally rewired my brain. And it's absolutely beautiful and insane that we can do that. But so that's the key. Is so you have the keynotes, then you have the 8-week coaching program. And then if we want to have some one-on-one coaching after that to continue on and really dive a little bit deeper into your saboteurs and what's sabotaging you on a daily basis, and we can do that as well. But typically with that keynote and that mental fitness program, you're really set. And again, just like anything else, you get what you put into it, right?
Yeah.
The key is most people, right? 90% or more of people don't want to change. And it's sad. It's really sad. There's a very small percentage of people who are those elite people. But if you look at any successful people, even like Tony Robbins, who I think you guys have worked with, he says there's a couple of things. Curiosity, starting off with a gratitude practice in the morning. He cold plunges every day. So he's experiencing that discomfort every day. He hates it, but he still does it because it's going to prepare him and build that resilience so that when something else comes, it's fine. That's the worst part of the day. And now he's good and he can be very productive. But I look for those patterns of very successful people. And curiosity, mindset, and small shifts. If you listen to anybody, read any of their books or podcasts, those are 3 constants. Yeah. So that's.
I love how this is going back to what you mentioned at the very beginning of the podcast, which is the fact that the comfort zone is going to kill you slowly but surely.
That's
exactly what it is.
And it sounds, you're right, and it sounds a little morbid to say that. And as you get older into my age, I'm 55, it hits home, right? When you're 20, 30s, yeah, you're like, oh, nothing can hurt me. I'm going to be fine. I'll continue on. But it is, man. It is a slow death. And I have a 20-year-old son, and I try to tell him, like, it's a lifelong commitment, right? Just embrace the journey. Just 1% better every day. If you do that, you're going to be just fine because you're exercising your brain, you're exercising, your body, you're moving, right? It's a use it or lose it. If you don't use it, then you're just going to be comfortable, complacent. And yes, it feels safe. And that's what we love, is to feel safe. But safe is fine when you're in harm's way or there's danger, right? That survival brain. There's good fear and bad fear. That's good fear. We need that, protects us. But that bad fear that keeps us from our dreams, our vision, our realities of really growing and being the best person, the best leader, the best business owner, the best marketing salesperson we can be, yeah, that bad fear keeps us from that unless we take action and we understand why our brain is doing what it's doing.
Yeah, I feel like there's a very thin line between this. The good fear can truly be used as a fuel and to really motivate you and provide that kind of drive that you really need to propel yourself further. But the bad fear, yeah, it's going to be a killer.
I love
absolutely. It. Todd, let's talk about also the back end side of the business. I'm very curious. Obviously, this is what it looks like to be like getting the most of your focus today and really building this consulting part of your business. So I'm curious, what is it that you do with your marketing, and maybe specifically in terms of generating leads for yourself and make all of this even happen in the first place? What does the
Yeah.
client acquisition model look like?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, I'm still formulating it. It's even with my marketing business, a lot of it is trial and error, right? You're just trying things, right? And I think you guys mentioned it on your show. It's not a one size fits all. Everything is a custom solution. That's my marketing business. That's how we've always operated. You get a lot of these agencies that come in and they promise the world and they work their tail off to get you in as a client. And then it goes into robotic mode, right? It's a set it and forget it, right? And then next thing you know, you don't have a long-term client. You're looking at 3 months, one campaign, and they don't see the results, and then they're gone. You just spend all that time gaining that client. So for me, it's about relationships, building relationships, and those take time. So LinkedIn has been one of my biggest advocates. I love LinkedIn. So I have a goal of meeting 3 to 5 new people every week and having a 30 to 45 minute conversation. And people that I'm cherry picking, people that are in my zone of the demographics that I want to be in, which is primarily in the human resources, the HR market, in the SHRMs, those people that are holding conferences that are responsible for talent development or leadership development in their company. Those are the types of people, change management consultants, people that want to come in and make a difference within their company.
I love it. Now, when it comes to this, obviously there is a lot of activities that goes into it. There is a lot that you have to do with your manual outreach, but also generating content, staying engaged with your audience on social media. I'm curious, how does this work in terms of getting help? Do you have somebody in terms of like internal marketing people, possibly also salespeople, or how did you go about this whole thing?
Yeah, unfortunately, it is all me right now. I am a one-man band, and I am actively looking for a VA. So that is definitely something that's on my radar for next year. So all the social, and like I said, I'm a graphic designer, so I love it. So I'm creating all the content myself, whether it be a static image or post or reel, videos, I'm creating all that content. And then I'm out, I'm actively pursuing people and having these conversations, and it's a long sales cycle. And even in the marketing business, you guys have probably seen the same thing. The sales cycle has become longer and longer. It's harder to land clients, especially in the marketing agency environment, because it's got such a bad name. It's almost, and nothing against car salesmen, but it's nasty in like a snake oil business, right? They have so many bad experiences. By the time they get to you, they're just jaded. So it takes a while to sell that and build that trust. That's been the biggest challenge. That's been one of the biggest shifts I've seen in my marketing business and even my new business, just being patient and being a servant leader and staying in touch, staying top of mind, right? That multiple touch points, whether it's email or in mail with LinkedIn or social media, all the different platforms, so that when they are ready, they do, I remember Todd or Evolve. Yeah, maybe let me reach out to them. So it's a lot of it. It's multi-channel.
I think this goes back to what you mentioned a couple of minutes ago, because the majority of people in the marketing sphere really are just trying to make the quick buck, right? There's a lot of over-promising. I'm just going to get the clients. I'm going to hold on to them for as long as they say yes to pretty much everything, whether that's a month, whether that's 4 months. But then when it comes to following on your promises, it is what it is, right?
It is. And it's unfortunate because for those of us, and it sounds like you guys have a great operation, and that's how we've ran the Evolve marketing, is that we're just building trust, right? We're doing good work. And yes, we're going to be a little bit more expensive, but as you get what you pay for. So if you want somebody who's going to be in the platforms, really monitoring your ad campaigns on a daily basis, then you're going to have to pay for that. And if you want to pick up the phone and call and actually talk to a human being and have somebody, respond, that's one of the biggest challenges that I've heard over the years, is that these agencies, they just don't respond. I'm like, guys, this is like the simple thing. Just pick up the phone, just respond and make the changes. Some of these changes that need to be made to websites or campaigns, they need to happen quickly. So response time and just communication in general, 2 very simple tactics, right? But a lot of people don't do it. And again, I think it goes back to just the business model. It's a churn and burn. That's not how we operate. It's never been, and a lot of people say, yeah, sure, it's not about the money. Yes, we want to be profitable and we have a nice profit margin. But it's really more about the work, building relationships, doing great work, and then providing success for our clients, whatever that looks like,
Yeah.
or whatever their goals are. So
I think this is the kind of mindset and perspective that you really have today, that you really need to have today in this day and age that we live in to really cut through the noise because there is a lot of
oh
stuff going
gosh,
on. So,
there is. It's
beautiful.
crazy.
Todd, before we wrap this up, I'm very curious. You're definitely the type of person that I can ask whatever I want to ask. I can
Yep.
challenge you. So,
Yep.
not only talking about the good stuff and the exciting stuff, what I love to do on this show is also bring out the issues and the challenges and the
Mhm.
bottlenecks, right? So, especially knowing that you've pivoted towards the consulting world and really growing this side of the business, when you think about the scale and growth in the future, out of everything, what would you say is really going to be the biggest bottleneck or a challenge to make it even happen?
Yeah, great question. It's time. And honestly, that's all right. It's the one non-renewable resource. It's the one thing we can't buy. So how do you spend your time? Where are you going to get your biggest bang for your buck? And I don't necessarily mean money, but sometimes it is, right? So am I creating social media content? Am I going out to networking events? Am I trying to get more speaking gigs to get in front of the right people to get some stage side leads? It's really all about time management. That is crucial.
I love it. Todd,
Yeah.
listen, this has been a great conversation. I'm pretty sure we could be talking for the next 2 hours. But
Yeah,
at this
absolutely.
point, let me just say thank you for taking the time sharing the story with me and the entire audience. I really appreciate it. If anybody wanted to get in touch with you, possibly even work with you in the future, how to go about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Check out my website, toddbertsch.com. That's BERTSCH.com. Check me out on LinkedIn. I love to meet new people. I'm very active on LinkedIn. So let's connect.
Beautiful. Thank you again, man.
Thanks, man.
It was a pleasure to have you. Now,
Yeah.
to our listeners, if today's conversation inspired you as well, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And also, if you're a business owner, more specifically a coach, consultant, or you have an agency, and you're trying to scale the business and really enhance both your sales and marketing efforts, also visit closers.io, get in touch with our team, and discover how exactly we scaled our company from zero to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on crushing it, and I'll see you on the next one.